Hello and welcome back to Cutie Girl Crochet. Today we are going to make this slouchy hat. I know that the camera's kind of zoomed in for my shot, so you can't really see the full hat, but there'll be some still pictures of it in the beginning so you can see what it looks like. But this is a kind of an open weave that I created. It is a beginner pattern. And those of you who know me know that I like quick, easy, profitable projects because I love making money doing crochet. Crocheting is a passion, but it can also be a money maker. If you are a beginner, this is perfect for you. The stitches that you will need to know are the chain and single crochet and the slip stitch. Those are the only stitches that you need to know to make this really super cute hat. You can make this hat in a beanie style, or you can make it in a slouchy style. And as I was looking at it, I was thinking that it would make a really kind of a neat Afghan too. So I worked up a little swatch here to see how it would look as an Afghan, just a flat little swatch, and it looks great. So this swatch is, or this stitch is very versatile for you. It is something that you can use for a lot of different things. So let's get started. Okay, what you'll need for this project is I am using impeccable yarn. I have to show you my little recycling. This is a little jug of pretzels that you get at Costco. They're like peanut butter filled pretzels, but I keep my yarn in there. So you don't need to buy the $10 little yarn bin things. You can just go to Costco, get yourself some pretzels, and have yourself a bunch of yarn bins. But anyway, I'm using this impeccable, flip this around here, yarn. I'm using the size H, or size I hook, which is, I don't know the millimeters of this. It's either, I think it's 10 millimeters. And you will also need a weaving needle of your choice. My choice is these little weaving shuttles. They are amazing. I've only found them at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure you can get them online, but they're amazing because you just poke your little yarn in there, and if you got a little tiny itty bitty end, you can work those ends in. So they're really, really nice. If you need to, you can just work your ends right in there. So I love those. You'll need a pair of scissors, and you will need a button, because on this, I haven't attached it yet, but on these hats I always like to put a little flower. So I've made just a simple little 5-petal flower here, and then I'm going to be putting this button right in the center of that. Isn't that cute? A little quick little something that just, and I usually sell these hats for $8 to $10. They work up really fast if you're an advanced crocheter, but they're also very easy for you beginners. So I'll be going slow, and let's get started on the hat. Okay, what you want to start with is just a slip knot. However you do that, this is how I do mine. I just do mine with my fingers. I make a little slip knot. I wrap it around my finger like that, and I poke the little end through like that. Make a little slip knot. I keep my tail on the right. Insert your hook, and now we're going to chain 56 There's 40. There's 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. So now what we want to do is you want to pull your hook out. And then you want to make sure that you don't have any twists. We're going to make a circle. So you want to make sure you don't have any twists. So what I kind of do is just lay it out flat. And then I fold the right end over, and I insert my hook through the very first chain that we did right there. Just poke it in there. And then what I do, without twisting my chain, is I bring that other end over where the loop is right here. I hook the loop back on and I pull that through. That makes a really nice circle without any lumps or bumps or anything to get in our way. So now we have made our circle. So now what we want to do is we want to chain 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet in all 56 of these stitches. So we're going to start with that very first chain space right there. We're going to insert our hook, pull through a loop, yarn over, and chain and single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across. Next chain, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, single crochet. I'm going to redo that one, it was a little loose. But.
Did you know you could save hundreds of dollars on your car insurance in just 15 minutes by switching to Geico? Just the way we're trying to help.
Okay, and next, single crochet. And we're going to do this all the way around. Every chain. And this is going to make the simple brim of the hat right here. This makes this brim right here. I absolutely love crocheting, and I love teaching crocheting, and I love selling the things that I crochet. I love looking at the people who have bought my stuff, wearing my things. I live in Washington State, so I've been making a lot of Seahawks things, and it was kind of neat to know that there was a lot of my Seahawk items at the Super Bowl. Even though we lost, it was still a great game, and it's been a lot of fun making the Seahawks items to sell. And I am going slow. I can crochet a lot faster than this, but just for the sake of this beginning tutorial, I'm going slow so that you guys don't have to do a lot of stopping and starting of the video. If you need to, you go right ahead. I understand. That's how you learn. But this makes great gifts. You can make it smaller sizes for children or babies, any size. You just have to remember to do your chain in multiples of 2. So I hope wherever you're watching this, you people in the Midwest and back east, I hope that right now the weather's kind of crummy for you, so I hope that you're all doing okay and that you haven't been too badly affected by those storms going through. Up here in the Pacific Northwest, we've had some pretty great weather, so I feel really bad for what you guys are going through. You can use any worsted weight yarn for this. I wouldn't use a thinner yarn because it might get a little bit too holey. But if you do pick a thinner yarn, you could probably use two threads at a time, 2 strands of yarn at a time, to make it a little bit thicker. But if you use just regular worsted weight like this Impeccable, or you know, if you're a Red Heart Super Saver person, or this would work with I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby. You could use it in cotton, wool, any more kind of a thicker yarn. Alright, we're starting to get to the end. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into our very first stitch right there, and make sure and poke your needle or your hook through both of those stitches. See both of those on there? Make sure and poke them through, pull up a loop, and then pull it through, and that's your slip stitch. So now you've got the brim of your hat made. This hat does not require any turning. We're going to constantly go in a clockwise direction. So this next step, what you want to do is you want to chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to skip that stitch right there. There's a stitch that our chain is kind of in, but that very next stitch we're going to skip that, and then the next stitch we're just going to do a single crochet, and we're going to do a single crochet through both of the loops. You don't want to do the back loop, you don't want to do the front loop, you want to do both loops. Let me get the hat out of the way so you can see that a little better. You want to do both loops right there. So pull up a loop and single crochet. And now we want to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to skip that next single crochet stitch, and we're going to go into the following one, and we're going to just single crochet. And we're going to repeat this pattern all the way across. The pattern is chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. And you can already see our little pattern forming. Our little holes pattern right there is starting to form. So we're going to do this all the way across. Get that hat out of the way again. Chain 3. I really didn't know what to call this stitch. I'm sure I'm not the first person to make this up, but I didn't get it from any pattern or anything. I just was thinking of something really simple that beginners could do to instead of just making granny squares or some simple project, you could actually make some wearable item, and this is what came out of it. I didn't know what to call it. I ended up calling it kind of an open weave type of stitch, just because of all the holes in it. And then I was looking at it, and that's when I thought, wow, this would make a pretty nice blanket too. That's how I ended up making this swatch right here. You can continue working while I yammer along. Don't wait for me. I'll catch up. But I just thought that that would make a really neat blanket too. So there's my little swatch. So again, we're at chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch, chain 3, skip a stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. I apologize to those of you who watch my videos and are asking for patterns. I'm not a very good pattern writer, unfortunately. I try. I did actually write up a pattern for this though, because it's simple. And so I will have that available shortly after I post this video. So I will add the link once I get it posted and figure all that out. I haven't really figured out how to get that onto the internet yet, but I will. Rest assured I will. I've actually made quite a few of these hats. I have made them in a cream color with variegated yarn flowers, and they have all sold. So people really, really like these hats. Probably because they're a little forgiving and they're not so thick and bulky, and they're actually pretty soft looking. They're not kind of a solid looking hard hat. They're a little bit more flowy, and I think people like those. And we're getting close to the end. So we do our last single crochet, chain 3, and now what you want to do is in our very first chain that we did right there, our very first chain, what you want to do is you want to put your hook in that stitch right there with 2 of the stitches on top and the 1 on the bottom. See that underneath there? Grab those 2. Don't put it in the back of that stitch. Don't put them in the front of that chain stitch right there. Grab both of those stitches and do your slip stitch right there. Because what that's going to do is that's going to make that look like a single crochet. Even though it's not a single crochet, it's kind of a slip stitch. What that's going to do is it's going to make your project look seamless. Let me find my seam here. It's going to make, here's the seam. My seam is right here. You can almost not tell that it's a seam because of the way that I do that. It's completely seamless. And so you can a little bit see it, but it's pretty negligible. So that's how that is going to look when you do that, when you put it right in that first, the bottom of the chain, like that. So now this is the easy row. This row's a little bit different, and it's super, super easy. We're going to chain 1. And now all we're going to do is in every single space here, we're going to chain 2. Or I mean, we're going to 2 single crochet. 2 single crochet in each chain. Really, really simple. Goes really fast. And the reason why we're only doing 2 and not doing anything else is, as you can see, this kind of fans out because there's only 54 stitches on the band, but we add a couple stitches each time we go around, so it kind of makes it kind of look kind of out like this a little bit. When we do 2 single crochet in each of these what it does is it snugs it up. It snugs up the pattern so that it doesn't bow out anymore. So 2 single crochet, next chain 3 space, 2 single crochet, and we're going to do that all the way across. Oh, sorry, getting a little fast for you. Let me slow down. Just put your hook right in there and do a single crochet right around that chain 3 space. And now you can really see our pattern starting to form. Those nice holes in there. This row goes really fast. This is a fast row. And if you're a seasoned crocheter, you can make these so fast. So fast. And like I said, anybody that knows me knows I'm into fast, easy, awesome looking projects, because the faster you can make items, the more profitable they are. And this would even be cute if you just had scraps. You could make scrappy hats out of this pattern with all kinds of different colors. The creative possibilities are endless. You could do this band one color and do the rest of the hat a different color. I will probably use a variegated, I have this, I don't know if it'll match, but I have this variegated yarn right here that I might make a, I don't really have the exact right color purple in it, but it's close. I think it would match okay. I think that would make a cute, this is a Deborah Norville yarn, which I'd never used before, and I really, really like it. I bought it just as to try a little headband that I found on the internet. Alright, back to crocheting. So we're still doing 2 single crochet in each chain 3 space. And what that's doing is that's opening up those holes so that they don't collapse. And it's also snugging up our work. Alright, and we are at our last 2 single crochet space, and now what we're going to do is right in that chain 1 that we did in the very beginning, just put your hook in there again, grab both of those stitches like that. You don't want to do the back, you don't want to do the front, you want to do both. Grab your yarn, pull up a loop, and then slip stitch. And you have done the very first row. And see how that snugs it back up to where it doesn't fan out anymore. It's all nice and together. And so you are going to repeat these 2 rows. Feel free to scroll back and redo those 2 rows. I'm going to do a couple more rows. I'm going to go a little bit faster. And then what you want to do is you want to make this as wide as you want. If you want like a beanie, I would do 7 inches up. This is a slouchy, and I did about 10 inches 10 inches up, which is probably 20 rows. So it just depends on the look that you want. This is, like I said, this, I know you can't see and I apologize for that, but this is kind of the slouchy version of it. But you could certainly just do about 14 rows and cinch that up to where it's just a beanie. Just you could probably even do a Juliet cap if you wanted to. So okay, for our next row, I'm going to go a little bit faster this time. You can go ahead and scroll back to the beginning and do the first 2 rows of the pattern. But chain 4, and in that space right above your other single crochet, single crochet, chain 3, in that space right above the previous row single crochet, you want a single crochet, and you keep doing that all the way across. There's a little space right there above that single crochet. Chain 3 right in that space. Chain 3, and do that all the way across. Super simple, super easy. Like I said, if you're a seasoned crocheter, this is almost my normal speed. But if you're a seasoned crocheter, this will be a very simple money-making pattern for you. You can take creative license and do lots of different things with it. As far as colors, flowers, you can weave a ribbon in and out of here if you're doing a baby hat. You know, if you're making this small, like a small little baby hat, you can weave a cute little ribbon in and out of here, and then put a cute little bow on it. If it's a, you know, little baby hat, just do whatever your imagination can conjure up. I'll show you at the end of the video how to make this simple flower. It's super simple. And then just pick out a button of your choice. I actually like these back post buttons, the ones that have just the post in the back with the hole in it. I don't like to poke yarn up when there's holes up here. I just don't like that look. I like it when it's just the when it's just the post in the, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just got the post in the back. Those are my favorite. Okay, back to crocheting. I know I get sidetracked. My apologies. Keep crocheting while I'm rambling, because I do. That's just what I do. I'm a rambler. What's nice about this project too is it uses a larger hook, which makes things go a little bit faster. When you start using the larger hooks, you can really scream along on these projects. If you watch my headband tutorial, those are really fast projects too. Those only take about 45 minutes to make if you're a seasoned expert or, you know, advanced crocheter. Those are great to do in your local state's football team colors. Alright, and I am at my end of my row, so I am going to slip stitch in that very first chain of our chain 4, making sure to grab both of those stitches and do a slip stitch. And this is the fast row where we just do 2 single crochet all the way around in each chain 3 space. Oopsie. Isn't it fun to watch crochet videos? It's one of my, I actually like to, while I'm making my patterns, I like to watch other people's crochet videos. It's really neat to see how everybody holds their hooks different and everybody holds their fingers different. I mean, some people hold their finger up like that, you know, and make and have the yarn in the front, or they have the yarn in the back, or they wrap it around their pinky, or they use their middle finger. It's just or they hold it like a, you know, like a pencil, or they hold it, or some people call it a knife. Some people, I've tried to crochet all kinds of different ways just to see if I can do it, you know, just to hold differently and just to kind of get a feeling about how other people's brains work and how other people you know, do their projects. This is kind of a neat, different way to hold your hook. It's kind of a, I don't know, kind of like, I guess it's kind of like a pencil, or I hold mine, I guess how they call it, like a knife, like this. And the reason why is because I don't have to do a lot of turning and digging and switching with my hook. My hook basically stays pretty stationary. I might turn it like this a little bit, but it stays pretty stationary. I bring with my left hand, I usually cast, my finger casts, and so my left hand actually brings the work onto the hook. I slip it on and off. It's kind of, I don't know, it's weird. It's just, but it's entertaining to watch how other people do it, because I don't get a lot of aching or pains or anything in my hands at all from crocheting this way. I hear a lot of people complaining about their wrists get tired or their fingers get tired or whatever. I never get hand fatigue at all from crocheting the way that I do. There are times where I will hold my yarn up. It just depends on what I'm working on. I don't do that very well because I'm so used to the way that I do it, but this is another option for me if there's a project where it makes me go a little bit faster. So not only have I, by watching the videos, other people's videos, have I learned to crochet different ways, I do that so that I can teach people different ways of crocheting and different ways of holding yarn, because just because this is my way, you know, the way that I do it, it's not going to work for everybody. People are going to hold them the way that's comfortable and the way their brain works. So experiment with different ways of holding your yarn and your hook. You might be surprised. You might like it. Might be more comfortable a different way. So okay, we just came to the end of that row. Now I'm going to start another loop row. So I'm going to chain 4, and I'm going to insert my hook right above my other single crochet. Just there's a little space right there, and do a single crochet. Chain 3 into that space, single crochet. Okay, I am going to go ahead and stop the video for a minute, and I'm going to finish my rows. I'm going to just go along, and I want you to continue working on your project and get however high you you want it, whether you want to do a beanie, whether you want to do a slouchy. Do as many rows as you need to. You can just kind of eyeball it, and then I will meet you back here and I will show you how to do this kind of spider web top to close up that hole. Alright, I'll see you back here in just a little while. Okay, I'm back and I've got the width of my hat that I want. I forgot to tell you in the beginning of the video that if you want to make a slouchy type of hat, you want to add a few more stitches. This is the slouchy type, and you want to add a few more stitches around in multiples of 2. Your first chain should be 60 or 62, depending on how tight you crochet or how loose you crochet. So that will be able to make this a little bit more slouchier. The 54 or 56 stitches that I did are more for a beanie type. So what we're going to do is you want to finish your row on a chain 3 row. So I'm going to finish up this row. I'm almost done with this row, and then we're going to close up this top. Okay, so now what we're going to do to close up this top is we are going to do, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in each of these stitches instead of 2. And we're going to chain 2 instead of chaining 1. Or I mean chaining 3, we're going to chain 2. So we want to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, 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 and we're going to do this all the way across. And this is going to make our opening in the top of our hat get smaller. After we go through this row, we'll be skipping every other space. But for this first row here, we're going in every space. Alright, I have reached the end. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to join in that like we would normally slip stitch into that space. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go directly into that next chain 2 space that we did at the very beginning, and I'm going to single crochet, and I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to skip the next chain 2 space and go into the following chain 2 space, and I'm going to single crochet, chain 2, skip the next space, the next chain 3 space, and go into the next chain 3 space, single crochet, chain 3, or chain 2, skip, single crochet, chain 2, skip, and just keep doing this all the way around. Skip, single crochet, chain 2. Until we get to our seam. Gotta kind of look out for it, because then we need to kind of switch it up a little bit when we get there. Okay, I'm at my seam now, up at the top here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet, chain 1. So we're still continuing to do every other chain space. So I'm going to skip this space, single crochet into the next space, but I'm only going to chain 1. Skip that space, go into the next space, single crochet, chain 1. Skip the next space, single crochet in the next space. After that, chain 1. Skip, single crochet, and we're going to do this for the whole rest of while the opening starts to close. And it'll close pretty rapidly. Chain 1, skip into the next space, chain 1, skip into the next space, single crochet, chain 1, skip. Okay, and now I've come to the very last little opening, and instead of single crocheting into this space directly across from it, I'm just going to slip stitch. I'm just going to turn my work like that, and I'm just going to slip stitch right through there, like so. Chain 1, cut your thread, pull through, make a little knot, and there you have closed the top of your hat. And it makes kind of this spider webby, open weave looking top, which kind of goes with this fabric. If you know other ways of closing your gap in the top, you can certainly do that. Just improvise. But I like this way because it kind of keeps with this pattern a little bit. And you can add a pom-pom, or you can add a flower, or up here on the top if you want. I've seen some where there's just a big flower applique on here. You can just leave it, which is what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to put my flower on the front, which I'm going to do that, teach you how to do that right now. Okay, so you want to tuck this end inside and weave that in. You want to weave in your tail that's down here on the bottom, however you do that. And I will see you right back to show you how to do the little flower. Okay, now we're going to do this flower. What you want to do, you need to know how to do a double crochet as well as the chain stitch. So what you want to do, I'm still using my eye hook. I'm going to chain 4. And then I'm going to make a little ring by just inserting my hook into the first chain, yarn over, and pull it through both loops on the hook. And then you want to chain 3. And now we're going to double crochet 3 times in that center, this very center of our little loop here. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now I'm going to chain 3 to finish our petal. And now we're just going to slip stitch right in the center of that ring. And there we've made our first petal. So now we're going to do our second one. We need to chain 3, 3 double crochet, and chain 3, and then slip stitch into the center. And we're going to do this 3 more times to make a 5 petal flower. So chain 3, 3 double crochet, and chain 3. Slip stitch into the center, now we're going to work on the fourth petal. And don't worry about that you're running out of room. These are pretty forgiving, and you can pull and tug and reef on them around the circle to get all of your petals into that little ring. So don't be afraid to manhandle it a little bit. Alright, so that's the fourth petal. So now chain 3, double crochet 3 times, and then chain 3, and then single crochet into the center, and then you want to chain 1, get your scissors. Now we're going to leave a long tail because we're going to use this tail to sew our flower onto our project. So leave, you know, a good 10-12 inches of tail so that you can use that to sew your flower on. And then you can weave in this tail behind here. I was kind of weaving it in as I was going along. I was just kind of capturing it, but I'm going to weave it in just a tiny bit more, just around the center of the loop here. This isn't going to show, it's just going to be to secure it a little bit. So I'm just going to weave it in just a tiny bit more, and I'm going to snip off that little piece. And there's our little flower for our hat. Now if I was doing a double one of these, I would continue on and I would do another one of these petals in one of these loops back here, but that's for another video. So now you've got all of your ends woven in on your project, and what I do is I find where my seam is, and then I make it kind of even and flat, and then I flip it over, and then I just position it either on the right or the left of wherever my seam is underneath here, because that tells you that's the back of their, you know, that's where it's probably going to be the back of their head. And then I put the flower on there, to the right or to the left. And then what I do is I just hold the project with my thumb, and what we're going to do is first we're going to just pick up a stitch to just start securing it on there. And then what I like to do is I like to flip the petal up, and I insert my needle through all of the 3 loops in the center and pull it through like that. And then I pick up another loop on the hat, and that secures down that first petal like so. And then I do that all the way around. That's secured there. So now I'm going to pick up the 3 center loops on the back of the petal like so, and then I'm going to secure it by grabbing a loop on the hat. Okay? And then keep turning your work as you go along. Flip your little petal over, grab those 3 center loops, and then pick up a loop on the hat. Alright, turn your work, flip your petal over, grab your 3 loops on the back of your petal, and then secure it by picking up a loop on the hat. Now you don't want to go all the way through to the back of your hat like this. All we're doing is just picking up one little loop on our hook. We're not going like this and around, because then that way this yarn will show, and we don't really want it to show back there. You can see how it doesn't show. Alright, and now we're on our last petal. And notice I don't have the button on yet. I'm going to show you a sneaky little trick to do that. So now we're going through our last petal, flip that over, grab our middle 3 loops on the back of our petal, and then pick up a stitch on the hat, and then that is now secure on there. So now what you want to do is we're going to sew our button on with the same piece of thread. So you're going to sneaky and just slide it under the flower and then up through those loops. You want to get it caught on those loops right there. So just kind of go under like that and get it caught in those upper loops right here and pull it through. And actually, I don't have a button up here. I'm going to go grab a button real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got my button. I just picked a simple little earthy looking button with the post on the back. And now I'm going to just put my needle through that, and I'm going to put it through underneath the flower, but not all the way to the back. I'm just going to kind of pull it like that, and before I tighten it all the way back down, I'm going to go through my loops again on that side. I'm going to put it back through the button like so. And then I'm going to push it all the way in to the back. And then I'm going to tighten that up. I'm just going to pull until it's all tightened up, because those loops will tighten up as you pull on it. And then what I do is I find kind of a hole where the flower is, and I pick up a loop, and then I wrap the yarn around twice and make kind of a knot, like so. And then I weave this end into the flower, back behind there. And then I cut that off. And that way you really don't see anything, any other edges or anything. And now I have a flower on my hat. So now you've completed your project. So like I said, I sell these for about $8, and they're very simple and people love them. You can do them in sport team colors, you can do them in, you could do this variegated with this solid, or vice versa. And it's a very simple project, and I know that you're going to really enjoy making it. So make sure and subscribe to my channel, and you can find me on Facebook, Cutie Girl Crochet. If you have any suggestions or comments or gentle criticisms, I would love to hear your feedback. Or if you have anything that you want to learn, please leave a comment below. And I hope you enjoy making this hat, and have a wonderful day.